Hello guys, today we are diving into the best KC17 loadout and calibration in Delta Force. The KC17 is easy to control, has great firing stability and one of the fastest radius movement speed among ARs. It performs best under 75 meters and it fills the same role as the K437 or M4A1. This build extends range from 25 to 29 meters while keeping the 324 milliseconds kill. Adds a 45 round mag which reduces lens shake and keeps handling fast for high mobility. Let's get into the attachments. Let's start off with the barrel where we put on the KC17 longsword barrel. This will give us that increase plus 4 meters, so up to 29 meters range, while giving us a good amount of control, which we do care about because it does have a decent amount of vertical recoil, but as you can tell, it barely has any horizontal recoil, so let's put it on. Now for the muzzle, I will be using the DTK muzzle brake because of the amount of current firing stability that it gives you, so let's put this on. Next up is the foregrip, where we will go for the resonant ergonomic grip because this helps out your vertical firing stability, your vertical firing camera stability and your vertical control while barely hurting your handling, which is going to be really useful to us again. So let's put this on. Next up is a magazine where we go for the 45 round extended mag. 30 is not enough, mainly because of the fire rate. It is 740 round per minute. Let's put on the 45 and don't forget to put on the magazines. Now for these three patches here, so the upper rail on the left and right patch, we are going for the DT Python handguard panel to increase our handling as much as possible without hurting any other stat. We can't really put anything on the left or the right rail or any patches. Next for the optic, it's purely preference. You could really go for anything that you possibly want. Here I just prefer going for things that are naturally raised, and so I'm going for the Cobra accuracy side. That way I don't have to put any risers which would mess up your firing stability. On the rear grip, the AR heavy tower grip will allow us to put on a grip mount, which is going to let us put on the stable grip base. This is going to help out your control and your stability by a lot. This is going to give you the most amount of stability that you could get out of a rear grip. And last but not the least, on the stock, to really cement the idea that the ADS walking speed is very important, we are going for the shadow buffer tube stock. This is huge boost in handling while giving us a little bit of extra control, but it does have this effect of extra ADS movement speed. So let's take a look at the detailed stat so you can see what it looks like before we calibrate it. You can see that our damage fall off multiplier has changed just a little bit by those plus 4 meters. But now let's go to the control, which we actually changed due to the calibration. You can see that we have really focused on the vertical recoil and this is going to get much better after that calibration. So now let's move on to the handling. You can see that our ADS movement speed is already quite high and we are only going to increase this by a lot during the calibration. Lastly, the stability won't really change much, but you can already see that we have some really good numbers. Now let's begin with the calibration to make the weapon even better. Starting off with a barrel where we put the weight limit all the way down to the minimum for the extra ADS movement speed. The length is also going all the way down to the minimum for the extra ADS speed. Let's move on for the foregrip, where we move the thickness all the way down to the minimum for the extra ADS movement speed and the weight limit to the maximum for the extra control. We want to control the weapon as much as possible. Here's on the rear grip, we have the weight limit all the way to the maximum for the extra control and the thickness all the way down to the minimum for the extra hit fire aim speed, which is just your ADS time. This is going to help out a lot, so make sure to put this on. Then on the stock, we have the weight limit all the way to the max, once again for the extra control and the placements all the way down to the minimum for that extra ADS speed. Again, we're dropping fire instability, but our firing stability is super high due to the muzzle already. So now for the optic, last but not least, the eye relief all the way down so that you can see as much as possible inside of your optic window. Now let's go back to see the detailed stats after the calibration, where you can see that the fall off multiplier does not change at all. So let's move on to the control, where if you remember the previous number, this was much higher. Vertical recoil is mainly what the weapon has, and even the horizontal recoil we have helped a little bit too. Let's move on to the handling, where you can see what I meant by we are going to increase the ADS movement speed by quite a lot. This is super high for an AR. And lastly, on the stability, as I said, it won't change that much, but just remember to hold your breath right around halfway through your magazine, because it really does help your recoil reduction while you're holding your breath. And now that you know the stats and we have dialed in our attachments and calibration, let's hop into the firing range to see how it handles.
Allied troops neutralizing objective Charlie 1. Allied troops launching an assault on objective Charlie 2. Orders are to advance, attack, and advance again. Capture the last sector. We're going to win this. Smoke screen incoming.
What have you done?
Roger that. Artillery barrage incoming. Allied troops launching an assault on objective Delta 1. their last line of defense.
Stop complaining! Get up and fight back! Get him out of here now! I need aid! Sure, that's bad luck.
Objective Delta 1 is ours. One objective left. You're almost there.
Strategic beacon ready to deploy. Ready.
Requesting artillery barrage! Over!
Roger that. Artillery barrage incoming. Still have plenty of troops. Keep attacking. Victory in sight. They can't hold much longer. Roger that. Artillery barrage incoming. Victory in sight. They can't hold much longer. Objective Delta 1 secured.
Let me at him! Let's take this up a notch!
Objective Delta 1 is under attack.
Smoke barrage ready.
Roger that. Artillery barrage incoming. This is their last stand. Take the sector.
Damn it! That's what I'm talking about!
Victory in sight. They can't hold much longer. Victory in sight. They can't hold much longer. Victory in sight. They can't hold much longer.
This one backs the punch!
Smoke screen incoming. Victory in sight. They can't hold much longer. Objective Delta 2 is ours. %, Allied troop force left. We must pick up the pace. Strategic beacon deployed. Capture the last sector. We're going to win this. Objective Delta 2 is under attack.
I'll fix you up in no time.
A big win. Operation accomplished. Solid day's work.